So now when you talk about getting out of that first phase at the line of scrimmage, we'll talk about, separation techniques. Okay, so this is, kind of within phase and at the top of the route. Okay, and all the while, right, we want to catch the ball, but at the end of the day, we want to create some separation, because if we can do that, we have a chance at a run after catch opportunity. So those are the things that we try to do. So you'll see some of the footwork, the shampoo. What I mean by that, right, we always talk about head and shoulders, right? So now we want to shampoo a guy, right? You steer defenders with your head and your shoulders. So we want to show him something or make him believe something, all right, so we can actually go out there and go operate. The last thing that I want are robotic receivers, right, that are running paper routes. We don't run what's on the paper, okay? At the end of the day, we're trying to get open, right? So that takes a little route persona, some creativity, right? And some ways to kind of, sit there and have some different ways to go about selling the same route disguise, and our agility, right? We at the top of the route, within the route, we want no wasted movement, okay? We don't want to lose any coordination, don't want to lose any speed, okay? So when you guys kind of sit here and see some of these, right? Okay, the first one that we'll talk about a stem, okay? And a stem has a T in it. So for us, stem is going towards the ball. Okay, when we want to work an outside release, right, or a reverse stem, we call that a spray release. Spray has an A in it, so we're going away from the ball, right? So here we're showing just a simple stem, right? You see these guys sit there, point that toe, eyes go to where I'm going, right? And I'm stemming that route to try to, square a defender up or sell that guy opposite of where I'm trying to go. Okay, so now, right, you sit here and you see it in the game. So here, right, Judy has just a simple outcut, but he has a press technique with man eyes. So now he knows this defender has to play me, right? No help over the top. Okay, so he's saying, you know what? I'm about to sell the drive, so I'm gonna use a stem release to get that guy to believe that, right? So now he moves him off the spot, right? Pushes back up the field, works the outcut, right? Just all the while using that stem release, right? So it's just little different ways to kind of use separation techniques. So here at the top of the route, right? Okay, now we're sitting there, right? Everybody talks about, hey, you know what? Where's the defender, right? Because there's going to be times when we're going to run a bunch of open routes, okay, and the guy won't be around. But there's going to be a lot of times where that guy's going to be attached to our body. And there's three places that guy can be. He could be over the top, right, which we call dominant. He could be behind you, which we call trail, right? And he could be even. That could be inside leverage or outside leverage, right? But he's hip to hip and he's running with you stride for stride. So here, right, just some of the different ways that we show, like, hey, this is how we should be running that route, whether to lift them, whether to throw them by, whether to sit there and pause at the top and rocker, right? So you guys will get a chance to kind of see this. So now at the top, we're trying to work a release. We got just a simple kind of, stop route. Okay, as we sit there and we're driving, that defender's kind of running with us hip for hip. The whole idea is still trying to throw that guy by and drive right back down our stem. For us, we want to be as violent as the defender. The last thing that the one thing that I hate is for our receivers to come back and say, hey, coach, he's holding me, all right? Because at the end of the day, that's what DBs are going to do, okay? So when we're sitting here running our routes, I want those guys to be as violent or if not more violent than what that guy would be. So you see Judy right here, right? And that probably could be calls for something, right? Depending on the ref, he could probably throw a flag. But at the end of the day, that's a guy that's trying to win. And that's kind of what we want, as opposed to a guy that's being passive and just kind of out there playing and getting hugged, okay? Right? So here, right, same idea, right? This is just our simple rocker step. So now when we're in phase, we probably got a little cushion look. So now we get a chance to work a defender. That guy's playing a catch technique and we want to be able to move him off the spot. We want to simply kind of get a rocker step. So this guy's driving and he's going to post his inside foot in the ground and he's going to plant his outside step, still selling slightly outside of that frame to get that guy to move so we can go work, right? So we try to, sit here and work some of these separation techniques. So now when we get into game, right, these guys get a chance to have different ways to use those same techniques, right? So as he pushes up, he kind of gives him a little hesitation, right? Posts that inside step, plants the outside foot outside the frame, gets that guy to believe, rocks him to sleep. So now we can break and work inside. Okay? And this is our three-step plant, right? This is the top of the slant, top of the post, those post corners that we run, the double moves, like we're just getting those guys to kind of just understand, planting off of that outside foot, right? We'll sit there and start with a skinny angle, and then we'll end up speeding it up and start with a kind of harder angle. So now we got to sell it a lot flatter, right? Which causes us to kind of, get in and out of those cuts. So here you're going to see a couple guys kind of sitting here selling those frames. So Judy right there, right? Sits there, sells outside, works back in, gains that separation. And we'll all take that, right? When you sit there and he catches the ball and there's 6 yards of separation between him and the DB, like we'll definitely take that. Okay, here's another look at it right here. Here's Waddle on a double move. So now as we drive up, selling somewhat of a glance and go. So he's pushing for 3 steps, throws those eyes and shoulders, right, to get that guy to believe, shampooing, right? But still there's that stick and that plant. And as we work double moves, the biggest thing for us is to make sure that we avoid contact, so have a plan of escape. Okay, and the other thing is we want to dig for 3 out of the route, so we create some separation between us and that defender, right? So now we have a better catch and run opportunity. Okay, and then, right, that guy's even, right, or he's in dominant, our little lift and lean technique. So I usually use the phrase lean, lean, chicken wing. We want to sit there and kind of get that shoulder into his chest, right, get that elbow kind of into him. And as we sit there and we get ready to plant and break off, we want to elbow him a little bit, right, and leave that post away from him, right? So to kind of take what he's been leaning on away. So we want to fight pressure with pressure initially, right? So as he sits there and he feels that pressure, now we stick and we end up leaning and letting off, right? We create some separation, right? So these are just different separation techniques that we try to utilize, right, to allow us, you know, no matter how the defender's playing, right, whether he's pressed, whether he's off, whether he's tight, we get a chance to create some separation kind of within the route.